Hey guys, young Psychonaut here, and today we're going to talk about ketamine versus 2F-Ketamine. And if you like this content where I talk about drugs and harm reduction and ways you can have a safe trip and you can have a safe experience with drugs, drop a sub for more of this content and drop a like if you like this video. So for the last few weeks we had a little bit of 2F-Ketamine and ketamine. So we did it separately a few times and we also did it together. And I also have some experience with both of these drugs in the past. So yeah, I think I can have a good versus video where I lay out the differences and the things that are the same between these substances. So first a little introduction to both substances. You will see them on the screen now. They're both basically the same molecule. The only difference is that the ketamine has a chlorine atom, which is switched out by a fluor atom with the 2F DCK. That's also where 2F comes from. The 2 stands for the point where the fluor atom is bound. They're both basically NMDA receptor agonists, although there are probably other receptors that they do bind on. But we know for sure that NMDA receptor, that's the main receptor where it binds on, which basically all dissociatives bind on. Also DXM, PCP, and of course all the ketamine analogs. So they're both anesthetics, and ketamine has been used as an anesthetic for a long time. It's actually used a lot in hospitals and ambulances and things like that because ketamine is one of the safest anesthetics that exists because it doesn't really slow down your heart or your breathing or those kinds of systems. But it does give you extreme pain relief and also, makes you like sedated, I guess, and good for if you have to do like operations inside the ambulance or something where you need a quick anesthetic without it trying to like stop the breathing or the heart. Ketamine is actually pretty safe if you just use it a few times. Of course, there's problems with using too much ketamine. You can have urinary tract infections and things like that, and I think even kidney stones maybe. But yeah, I'm talking about doing ketamine like sometimes, like once a month or twice a month or something, like not every day or every week, because every drug will be bad for you if you do it like every day or every week. So if you want to look up more safety information, I would definitely recommend going to the Psychonaut wiki. There you can see all the interactions with the different substances, and you can also see the dosages even better. So you can really like make the best out of your substance and your trip. So now we go on to the differences. Like one of the main differences is the route of administration. So ketamine has almost no oral availability, which means that if you take it orally, it will almost do nothing. Ketamine is better if you snort it. So I would definitely recommend just snorting ketamine, not taking it orally, because the dosages that you have to take for that are just insane and such a loss of your ketamine. With that being said, 2F-Ketamine, or 2F, which I'm going to call it, has a very, very good oral availability. It even has a higher oral availability than if you snort it. So I would definitely recommend taking 2F orally with some water, just like dissolve it in some water, take it orally. You can snort it, of course, but I personally prefer orally because the fun thing is it even has a faster onset if you do it orally. So if you snort it, it can take up to like an hour before you like really peak. But I feel like if you just mix it with some water, take it orally, it can hit you in like 15 to 20 minutes or something. And it takes about as long, a little longer. So yeah, I would definitely say orally is my preferred method for 2F. And also the difference in 2F between taking it orally and snorting it is pretty negligible. So yeah, I would say take it orally. That's better. Also, 2F tastes like basically nothing or like very, 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 mild in comparison to ketamine. So ketamine, it tastes pretty bad. Like not as bad as MDMA, but it still tastes bad. I would say like if I snorted some ketamine, it really like makes you go like, oh, ooh, this is like something is going on. But with 2F, it's actually pretty mild. If you just take it orally, it's probably not gonna be a very bad experience. Also, the snorting of ketamine, which I just said, produces like a very noticeable drip that tastes like really intense. And 2F, of course, also has a drip, but it doesn't taste that horrible. So the drip is also more manageable. So the dosage is also interesting because of that 2F is orally a little stronger. So here's a chart for the dosages. You can see that ketamine snorted is basically the same kind of dosage scheme as 2F orally, so it's pretty comparable. Personally, I would recommend for 2F about 40 to 60 milligrams orally. That's a really nice range. And for ketamine, between like 50 and 100 milligrams snorted, I think that's a really chill range. Although with the ketamine, you'll probably want to be doing some more after that. And with the 2F, you'll probably be fine for at least a few hours. So the duration of the effect is also interesting because ketamine is really short. Like it's only an hour, maybe like 1.5 hours, but like after 20 minutes, you're already on the peak. And with 2F orally, it's like 4 to 5 hours at least. When you snort it, it's still like 3 hours. And the come up for 2F is way slower than for ketamine. So ketamine hits you pretty quickly, but it will also ramp down pretty quickly. And with 2F, it has like a very long tail that can be felt for hours after ingestion. So it's more of a smooth ride up and a smooth ride down. Now into the differences in effects. So one of the main differences, I think, is that ketamine is more psychedelic in the sense that visually it's more intense. And with ketamine, I sometimes have like closed-eyed visuals and things like that, especially when I combine it with cannabis. But with 2F, it's not very visual. It feels less psychedelic, but it feels a little bit more cerebral. So 2F is a little bit more psychedelic in like the way your thought processes are going. It's more like introspective, I would say. And ketamine is a little bit more like, oh, look at them wonky visuals. And I think also 2F has like a thing where it's really good at making you remember certain memories, very specific memories of specific events that you thought maybe, oh, I forgot about that. But then 2F is really good at like making you remember those. I think 2F is also a little bit more bodily sedating, and the anesthetic qualities are a little bit more pronounced. So like the feeling of like losing touch and your sense of pain is a little bit more pronounced with 2F and a little bit more reliable with 2F. So I think, yeah, if you want to use it for something like pain management, which I would disadvise, but I would say 2F is better than ketamine for this. Also, I don't know why, but overall, ketamine feels more fun. It feels more like you're doing a recreational substances, and 2F feels a little bit more medical, a little bit less interesting, but maybe that's also because it has less visuals. So also ketamine, I'm a little bit more talkative. 2F is even more like sedating, I think. Okay, so now onto the side effects. I think both have very similar side effects. There's not one that has a very specific side effect, but yeah, just watch out for dizziness, disorientation. Make sure you know what you're taking and do it in an environment that, yeah, you can just like chill out and not have to worry about losing your motor skills. Also, the motor skill loss from ketamine is a little stronger than on 2F. So I feel like maybe on 2F you can get up and walk to like somewhere a little bit easier. But this also really depends on the dose. So yeah. Also with both, my appetite is not affected as much. So that's also pretty nice. And sleep is also fine as long as you do not like do it too close to bedtime. And here you really want to watch out with 2F because the 2F is really like, because it takes so long, if you take it too close for bedtime, you're still going to feel it while you're laying there and it's going to be hard to fall asleep. So for the combinations, I think cannabis is really fun to combine with both, and I think it's also safe. DXM can be combined with both. but be aware that it's pretty strong interaction and it may lead to like very big disorientation. So I would definitely recommend just taking a little bit of both if you are going to combine DXM with it. MDMA is a really fun combination with ketamine, also with 2F, also with both. I've also done all three together, and yeah, it's really nice. It also makes the MDMA a little bit less forced. So normally with MDMA, it feels like you're really like your heart's pounding in your chest and you're like up and going and dancing for hours. And with ketamine and 2F, specifically oral 2F, it feels like you can still feel the MDMA going strong, but you can just sit down and chill and like let it take over your body instead of having to move. Yeah, and they can also really be combined together very neatly. Ketamine 2F have a very nice synergy, both very similar, but also have their own small like subcomponents. So combining them just complements each other. And I think, yeah, for now it's legal in the Netherlands, but that's because no designer drug has been scheduled here, only the ones that cause like societal problems. So like 3-MMC is a big one that got banned. I think 4-MMC also. But they're probably not gonna ban 2-FDCK because there's like nobody knows about this, and people that know are not like extremely abusing it, or at least it doesn't seem to be a big problem as of now. So I hope it will stay legal, and it's probably illegal in most places because of the Analog Act that says like if you just change an atom, it still has the same effect, so we're gonna ban it. So yeah, you gotta watch out with this stuff if it's illegal. So this was my video talking about the differences and the things that are the same between ketamine and 2F ketamine. They're both really interesting substances that I would definitely recommend to psychonauts, but I would also say, yeah, watch out that you don't abuse it, and yeah, make sure you follow the harm reduction steps. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. If you think you learned something, maybe drop a sub. I'd really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.